Holiday in Tokyo. Hello, nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you too.
Do you just want to go through who each one of you
are? Yeah, well, I'll go first. I'm Matty. I'm the lead vocalist. Someone else?
I'll go. Okay.
Hard on Tim.
Am I doing it?
Yes.
Go for it.
Okay, thanks. Right. I'm Tom. I play guitar, but I also play bass on a side note. And I'm from Stanley.
I'll go. My name's Jack. I'm originally from Cumbria, but I live over in the northeast now, obviously. I do a lot of the piano and bass for most of the songs in the band.
Hi, I'm Richard. I come from concert and I try my best to play the drums in the band.
Obviously, Jack said he was from Cumbria, so how did you all meet then?
Well, me, Richard and Jack met at Northumbria.
Nobody remembers me.
No, so Richard
I think I've stood next to Richard on my graduation photo and I still couldn't remember who he was.
Oh?
Yeah, you have to send us a photo because it was her and Jack stood together. And just in the middle, this person that I was like, who the hell's that? And it was Richard. And I met Richard at work. He was like, oh, yeah, I know Jack and I know Amanda. And I was like, who the hell are you?
I don't know you.
Yeah, it turns out, and he knew me from like school, but I didn't know him.
Oh.
And like, he passed down the road from us like this whole time. I was like, all right, do you play drums? And he lied and said yes.
I mean, small world.
Yeah, I struggled to come up with a timeline of when I met everyone. I met Matty at a caravan park years ago, and we both really liked skating at the time, even though neither of us could skate. We were just really cool like that. I knew Richard from school, but I didn't really associate with him. We work together now, so I'm glad we got over that bridge. And then I met Jack through Matty.
What did you study at uni then?
Can we go first? This one?
Chemistry, bar Tom that did chemical engineering, and yeah, that's about as interesting as it can be.
Well, very, very smart subjects.
I'd beg to differ.
Yeah, well, you've probably had a lot easier than we've got it right now.
Yeah, we did. COVID. Yeah, we could go and see other humans. That was nice.
Yeah.
I imagine my uni
eyes just sort of die, Jake. Like your eyes just sort of died there as we said.
Well, seeing other people, yeah. Well, it's like
Jake's fine because he's in a flat of 8 people and I'm in a flat of 2. So it's just me and one other guy. And sometimes you're like, I just want to see someone else's face right now. I just go to shops for no reason sometimes, just because you just got to see someone else.
Yeah. Well, yeah, even I do that because it's just the same 7 people over and over again. So, so where did the name Holiday in Tokyo come from?
Well, so I struggled with a name because I thought, I want to make a band. I want to do something. And it's because like we went through uni and getting work and I got a house and I was like, oh my God, like I've done all of the adult things and I haven't done anything I wanted to do. I was like, so I want to write music and I want to go away to Tokyo. So I want a holiday in Tokyo. And I was like, right, we'll call it Project Holiday in Tokyo. And I just never bothered changing it to anything else. Okay. So it just stuck. Like I had ideas of what we would change it to because we're all like geeks. So I tried to make some like Metal Gear Solid reference, but nothing I could think of made sense, and you couldn't pronounce any of it. And I was like, all right, we'll just stick with that, and it's stuck. People know us as Holiday in Tokyo, so that's what it is now.
Well, it's a good name. It's a good name. Have you been to Tokyo yet? Then?
No.
Holiday in Tokyo asterisk. Never been to Tokyo.
Well, it's not like you scan at the minute either. It's probably going to be like another year or so.
Awkward.
Well, since you just said video games, interesting question, but what are your favorite video games then?
Well, my favorite of all time's BioShock. I like first. Oh, don't cringe, Matty. I know you hate when I say of all time. But yeah, I like stuff like Metal Gear Solid and yeah, Souls-like games, playing a lot of them recently. So
For me, it's probably like Halo 3. I think I grew up on Halo 3, so like it's always going to have like a special place for me. But
yeah, and it's a shame that the new Halos are a bit shit.
Yeah, we don't talk don't exist. Finished at 3 in my mind.
No, Reach. Finish a Reach.
Well, yeah, Reach was okay. Reach.
Yeah.
Do you think
Tom,
do you think Halo music influences you at all? Your music.
I think some ways, yeah. Like when I was learning to play piano, sort of growing up, and things like video game music in general. There's a lot of what I like to play, because generally speaking, you don't find much. Well, you didn't when I was growing up find much piano in the kind of music I like indie and rock and things. It wasn't really a thing. So like game music does use more like classical instruments like that. So I think like definitely when I was learning to play music that it was much more of a thing. Does it inspire any of the music we do now? I'd probably say no.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine,
all of our sets have to start with Jack coming on slowly at the piano, playing that like doon doo doo.
Doing the operatic bits himself as well.
Should do that. Actually, that'd be quite good. That'd be quite a good idea.
Jack, it's on you.
We do it as a bonus track.
Yeah, Tom, Matty, what about you?
My favourite is probably Fury or Tekken 7. Between those two, I've probably got like 600 hours in them, mostly just for the soundtracks. The Fury soundtrack especially. Quality game.
I'd have to say Bully. It's the music in that game is absolutely exceptional, and I was always a goody two shoes at school, so it was nice to have like some sort of like outlet. It probably wasn't good mentally for us, but no, I played that game about 20 times over. I love it.
Yeah, no, I find that on GTA, you put someone on that's really, innocent in real life. They go on GTA and they just start driving into people on the street.
Oh yeah,
like, what are you doing? Oh my god,
it's not good. People
are losing it.
It's not good.
Sometimes I think about the parallels between my actual driving and my GTA driving, and think about how I haven't been in an accident yet. Just the attitude's so different.
But my attitude was I was like before learning how to drive, I was like really confident. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be good at driving. And my mum was like, why? I was like, oh, I'm good on GTA. That's why. I was like confident I was gonna be good.
Well, it was the total opposite.
Huh?
I think it was games that made it worse because if you crash, you can just click restart and then that's it.
Yeah.
So
you just get out of the car and get a new one. That's just you can't do that in real life.
Well, yeah, no, my dad said to me, he was like, how come you're not picking this up instantly? You play video games, as if there's like a connection between driving an actual car and video games. But yeah. What about your EP title then? Las Yucas Is Overgrown. Where'd that come from?
So it's one of the lyrics in the first like proper track, Amoxicillin. So Amoxicillin is about like nostalgia as a drug. So I've got I think a lot of it's to do with like movies that came out recently. It's all stuff that's been and done, like rehashed.
Yeah, remake.
Yeah, especially Star Wars. Like me and Jack especially, like we're big.
What are you talking about,
Star
mate?
Wars fans. I've loved it for years.
Sequel trilogy's great, yeah.
having like things rehashed and beat to death, but people still like, oh my god, I love Star Wars, it's so great. It's like these rose-tinted goggles, and it's like nostalgia's good, but too much. You stop liking new things, you stop looking out for new music. So people just stick the same 5 or 6 albums they've had since they were a teenager if they don't go out for anything new. So Las Yucas was a resort I went to as a kid in Menorca. And I went back with my dad like a year or two ago, and it was just a mess. Like we actually went to the proper resort, and it was literally overgrown. Like it was like that nice, like, oh, I can't wait to go back here. And that's when the glass sort of shattered, and I was like, oh, not everything that you remember having that nostalgia filter is nice. Sometimes you've got to just cut things off and be like, right, let's move on. And a lot of things in the EP, it's sort of like try and move forward, try and look for new things. That's where Las Yucas Is Overgrown comes from.
That's really deep, actually. I quite like that. Yeah. Well, Amoxicillin. Did I say that right? I think I did. Yeah. Is probably one of my favorite songs on the album, and I did pick up on a little bit of that, but I didn't realize it was that deep. I do quite like that.
It came about so quickly. I think that my favorite two songs are probably The Swing and Amoxicillin, because they were written so quickly and I didn't think about them too much.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm every time I like. Richard was talking to us about this, like, sometimes we cringe listening to our own music, because you do. It's like hearing your voice like on a recording or something. But every time Amoxicillin kicks in, I'm like, no, we made something. I'm proud of Amoxicillin. I really am.
Yeah.
So, if we're gonna talk about, the meaning of your music and so forth, we should go on to what is your creative process when it comes to making music? Then, as a group,
oh God,
what usually happens or things like
Chaotic.
It depends. Either I'll write a song from scratch, and then I'll try and record it on my potato of a computer, send it to the other ones to learn, and we'll try and practice it. Or Tom has about 1,000 8-bar loops. That's all he can do. You can't do anything more than 8-bar. Like Late Night Cooking is Tom's song. That came from an 8-bar loop.
And it's actually a 4-bar loop. We just did a different octave for the other two.
Well, there you go. So, like, it's either I'll think of something, I'll work on this idea, or Tom will be like, oh, what do you think of this? I'll just nick that. I can't be asked.
Okay.
But over lockdown, nah. Like, a lot of people being like, oh, it's been a great chance to like write more things. I think we've all just been like, nah, can't be asked.
You know what? Every single person we've interviewed since starting again this year has said that.
Yeah.
I think it's a complete myth that people are like creative boosts.
I mean, I've got like a couple of songs on the go, but like I don't want to. I can't be bothered.
I think people like conflate like isolation and productivity, but like all of us have also been going to work as well throughout the pandemic. So like you come home and you tell yourself, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to learn this riff, I'm going to write this, and then you sit down and stuff and you're just like, nah.
I think one of the problems is like a lot of the songs, especially when Matty writes the lyrics for them, they're normally inspired by something that's happened or has been happening. But in this lockdown, it's quite clear to see that nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Unless you want to write about being stuck inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could write about how I'm not very good at Call of Duty Warzone, but that's about it.
I wouldn't be able to relate to that, Matty.
No.
So what do you all do for jobs then?
I work for a pharmaceutical company, so I help sort of test and design drugs that are radio labeled, which basically means that they're a bit radioactive. You give them to people and you test where it comes out, essentially.
Okay.
So that's the long and short of it. But yeah, I do that up in Northumberland. It's quite a bit away from these guys, obviously. So
crazy.
Yep. So that's me.
And me, Richard, and Tom all work in County Durham I'm a technical chemist. It's a paint factory. I'm a technical chemist. Richard, do you want to explain what you do?
Yeah, I'm a colour technician, so I'm the guy responsible for all the pretty colours on the planes. So it's my job, like, you know, you see your planes flying everywhere. I'm the guy who mixes the colours and gives the formulation so that they can be made in production.
And I'm a process engineer, so I take the formulas that Richards give us and then we try and make them on a big scale. And we're like the link between those two bits.
So you're all doing super smart jobs. I feel dumb right now.
Same.
Oh my God.
Probably the least rock and roll job, I think. Yeah.
No, but the good jobs. The good jobs.
Radio.
They sound good when written down, but like you actually do them. No.
Well, my last job was working in St James's making pints, and it's not as good as yours, but
yeah, no, mine was working at a bakery. Honestly, I just don't think I've ever done anything that smart.
So you said that COVID sort of like stumped your sort of writing process and that, but your EP did come out on COVID. Were you working on it still through lockdown then, or?
No. So PR has been the hardest thing. Like when you're doing everything yourself, because we're not signed to like a local label or anything. We're just like, let's get them on Spotify and let's just whatever. But no one tells you how to do any of it. Yeah. Like even the Spotify thing, like how do you, like recording it was hard enough. Like we managed to find a place where we can go record. Then it's like, right, how does that end up from here to Spotify? Like, right, find that out. Okay, great. How do we get people to listen to it? And then, oh my God. And then it was like, right, how many songs are we going to put on? Right, this many. Have we got them all? No. Right. And then we'll work for months. And then you're like, oh, by the way, you got to make the EP. I'm like, oh, bollocks. It's like, nah, it was very much a haphazard. And toward the end, it was like, I literally, I went on Instagram and I found every, like, not like a music, like local news outlets or like music bloggers. And I just emailed every single one of them. And I was like, someone must listen to this or read it or something. And I think it went quite well. Like we've got Any Volume, we've got Narc, and I was really pleased with that. And then there's other ones that have done like nice reviews, like Here in the Studio were really nice as well. You guys, but for the amount of low effort we put in, it's been quite successful for us. It's been nice.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember how you came on my radar, but I remember you did. And I remember just listening. I don't think I listened to the EP straight away. I think I listened to it about a week or so after it came out. And I was completely blown away with it. I really did enjoy it.
Oh, thank you. No, it very much. Yeah, it means a lot because it's not something that we thought it was just going to be something that would like show our parents or whatever, and have someone that we don't know to be like, they like it. It's just it's baffling. It really is.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah,
thank you.
I think I listened to it. Jake told me about you because we were talking about how to interview around Northeast, and Jake told me. So I was on the train home, and I was on the train back to Newcastle. I was going through all these different artists from the Northeast, and out of the list that Jake gave me, you guys definitely stood out. I was like, yeah, I really like these guys.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely my kind of music, 100%.
See, it's weird because like I started like last year. It's like I'm gonna listen to local music, and I was just boggled at how good it is. Like it's not just like when you think there's a local band and like they're quite good. It's like you've got Martha Hale, you've got Courtney Dixon, you've got Swine Tax, you've got Holly Reese, you've got absolutely all sorts. And just to be in amongst all that, it's amazing.
Well, yeah, Holly Reese was the last person we interviewed.
Yeah, I checked that, like, because I didn't know how this format was going to be, so I watched that, and I think she's a great laugh. She's really good.
Yeah, Courtney Dixon's new album's also pretty good.
Oh yeah. Well, I haven't heard the new one. I heard is it Man Made Time or one with Man Made Time on, like the one she did for Bandcamp. That was great. That one.
Well, yeah, the Northeast has got quite a lot of good stuff, and I think the reason why I quite like your stuff and Holly Reese's stuff is that it's fresh for the area. Like a lot of the Northeast's music scene is either very singer-songwriter or very indie rock, and use a nice sort of like lo-fi indie pop, and it just feels quite fresh.
Well, that was the thing, like with In the Cut. So, you know, it's going with that.
Yeah, no, that was on the demo tapes, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's the first song we got together and recorded, and it is very much of that ilk. It's like
rock,
like. I didn't hear them at the time, but if you put that alongside like Leopard Rays or whatever, it's like more similar, that sort of thing. And I was like, I'm not very rock and roll. I don't think we're very rock and roll. And I think in amongst all the good stuff, like we're just gonna get lost. I think we need to do what I don't listen to a lot of that in my spare time, but I listen to loads of lo-fi and singer-songwriters. And I was like, let's do what I think we'll be good at, and that will be noticed. At least, like, we got to a point where, to be honest, I just turned on chorus and then we found our sound. And it was like, right, okay, it's now we're at a point where every song we write, no matter what it is, it'll sound like us, and it won't sound like we're trying to be, like Razorlight or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna actually ask, what would you define what genre of music would you put your music in?
I'm gonna put that to the other three because I'm gonna see what they say before I say anything.
I'd say the closest thing I think of is like lo-fi with sort of almost funk elements, because we quite like bass lines and we quite like sort of fast-paced songs and things like that. So I think if I had to pick closer, I'd say lo-fi / funk, but or at least funk elements anyway. But like Mike was saying, just to touch back on before what he was saying about like that we don't want to do sort of indie rock, because for me it's kind of the opposite. Like I never actually really listened to lo-fi all that much until I started playing in this band, or at all really. And that's actually kind of a bit more easier, because it means that like I can try things and it's all just new and it's all nice, rather than trying to sound like something I like that is, indie or rock or something, and not ever being happy with it, because I don't think we'll ever, like I said, be in that crowd and be as good as that. So you just be constantly disappointing yourself, at least. Whereas with this, it's different enough that like I don't like when we, make a NAF one and it sounds crap, I don't feel as disheartened, because it's like, oh well, this is all new, we're learning how to do it. So I think but lo-fi elements of funk, I think that's where I'm probably going to settle on.
Yeah, definitely in Moxie Ceiling, when the beat changes, the drum pattern changes, I thought it was quite funky. I that caught me by surprise. Definitely. That completely changed how my head was bopping to it. I was going to actually ask who came up with that idea to do that, to have it kind of switch with the drum.
Well, to be honest, like I think it's Ollie Cobb from Blast Studios. Like we keep saying lo-fi, but we recorded in a professional studio, so it's apparently hi-fi instead of lo-fi. But he was talking about the power of the egg shaker for like a while. I'm like, what are you on about? And it's that bit, like, I'm assuming you mean the bit like bridge before the solo, where it's like it's sort of like changeable poppy thing. He was like, if you put an egg shaker like here in the mix, it changes everything. And we played it, and it was just the offbeat hi-hat. That's all it was. But adding that, it adds like a shimmy to it. So that's all we had. Like we just had like, but we'll just change it to like a straight like offbeat, whatever. And just like adding that, it just adds that sort of groove to it.
An egg shake. So do you use an egg shaker in all your songs now?
I will. Specifically, I've got like a set of 5 that will have different like size grains in them, so you get different kinds of shakes.
I was gonna say, because the tease is quite synthy, isn't it? That's another one of your outtake sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the first one that I did at my house, I think, and it was just, we made it just so that we could get something on Spotify, because of the way you have to do it. You've got to put a song on and then you can claim it. But yeah, that was one of the 4-bar loop ones, well before the egg shaker period.
I think he's ever going to come back to egg shaker period. Do you think you're ever going to come back to these songs, stuff like the tease and that?
I'd like to. I think if we're going to do like another, either an EP or another big, like even an album or anything like that, it's nice to have like a couple of tracks where I think they fit in more. When we had 3 songs, we had Tease, Annoy Me, and In the Cut, and all 3 sounded completely disconnected. Whereas I feel like now with Las Yucas Is Overgrown, I feel like Tease and obviously Annoy Me sort of blend into that a bit more, because you've got Pemberton Road, which is a bit more like Tease. It's only In the Cut that sort of stands out, but we'll just leave it there as a sort of, we made this. But I think it worked well in a set, something like Tease. If we had like a longer set, like either as an introduction song or whatever, I think it would just sound nice. So yeah, I think we'd go back to stuff like that.
I would definitely like to have a bit more of a go at electronic sort of music and stuff, and try some more keyboardy stuff. Just something different, really.
Are you going to tell them what you said about Pemberton Road, Joe?
Oh, well, so Pemberton Road caught me by surprise, because obviously there's no vocals in it, and it's just the beat. And this is kind of embarrassing, but there's a thing that me and my mates do when we get a little bit drunk, and say we're just sat there, someone will go, "Oh, let's put a beat on, we'll freestyle," and none of us can rap. Not a single one of us can rap. And I said to Jake, Jake, this is the new freestyle rap for me and my mates to rap over. So yeah, honestly, you may be hearing a remix at some point from my friends and me.
Oh my god,
That's so good.
I don't think I've ever been more proud.
That Pemberton Road is all Tom. I will take absolutely no. Well, originally, because like it was a Wednesday thing. I'd come every Wednesday. We'd have fish and chips and we'd play about on Tom's computer and make some songs. And Tom had Pemberton Road. I was like, oh, what like no vocal. I was like, it doesn't need vocals. It needs like a sound bit from a film. And we took the dinner scene from To Kill a Mockingbird and put it over the top, and were baffled at how it fit perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gregory Peck's like voice hit the beat every time. I was like, let's release it as it is. And then I Googled like the Harper Lee Foundation don't care how big or small you are. They will sue you through your eyeballs and anything to do with To Kill a Mockingbird. And I was like, the probably won't ever hear it, but I'm not risking like a class action lawsuit for the sake of an 8-bar loop track. Like,
I mean, you could always just make like a YouTube channel, just put it out there, just say it's not you.
That's the plan. We're going to do that because it just sounds so good. But I want to hear this freestyle rap. Absolutely.
You don't. You don't. I'm going to be honest with you. You do not want to hear it because it will be.
Yeah, I do.
It will be. Oh my! It will just be. There's some bad ones. I think there was one time my friend said, one of my mates said, "Joe is dead. Now I mourn. I'm going over to mow your lawn." And that was
bars. Straight bars.
Yeah, there you go. You don't want to hear it.
I really do.
I think I do even more now.
If you've got a recording, it will be on our Spotify.
Well, I'll see. I'll have to use this microphone and try it then. Obviously after COVID, because then I can get them all around. But I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, could you not get away with sampling for Kill a Mockingbird?
I don't know enough about it. Like, I didn't.
I think
know
probably a bit
I think we could.
It depends if we could use the whole thing, because like the original I think is the whole scene, so I don't know if that's too much or if we could trim it so that it's not, you know what I mean? I don't know anything about law, so it would be a bit hard to.
Surely we'll put it on like SoundCloud or Bandcamp or something for free, and that'll be all right. Like,
yeah,
we're not going to
imagine so.
0.7 pence or whatever it is on Spotify for it. So.
Wonder how much it is to buy the royalties to it.
Which is the one scene though.
I will chip in, fam.
I think SoundCloud are quite on it, because I tried to post something which was a mix of a song that was with Thomas the Tank Engine. And they took it down because obviously it used it up too much. Used to say like the song they were on about the rap, so they took it down every single time I tried to post it. So I've just got it in on my computer, and no one hears it. But
that's a shame.
I need to post it to YouTube, really.
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll do that at some point. I think Tom's got the original one on his computer, so we'll just put it on YouTube or whatever. I think we've got a channel, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. That's how we used to distribute our music before we got on Spotify, to send demos out and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you mentioned fish and chips there. I've actually got a list of notes here. And one of them is, because I saw the album cover for your outtakes, is what's your favourite scran then?
Just from a chippy?
Well, takeaway. Go on. We'll say takeaway.
I'm
a pizza guy.
Pizza guy. Nice.
I'm pizza guy.
Mine's a chicken shawarma wrap with piri piri and chili sauce on from Shawarma King in Middlesbrough.
Very specific.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be fried chicken for me. Just can't get enough to be an absolute fiend for it. Yeah.
It's between like it's either there's a Chinese around the corner and they do this like veggie mini box, and it's like bang bang cauliflower and halloumi fries and like spring rolls, and it's just so millennial. Yeah. Or Pizza Base in Newcastle.
I don't know I've been.
Because me and Jack lived in Student Castle, or Liberty Key.
Whatever it's called now.
Yeah. and across the street, it has, I think, a 1-star review.
Yeah, it's not like somewhere you go in the daylight. It's definitely a place you go when you've had a few. But
it's incredible, absolutely
I would still
rate. Everyone sticks you get like a ticket, what number you are, and everyone sticks it on. And I'm sure like there's absolute abhorrent things that people most of them about Madeleine McCann. It's awful. But the Kiev pizza is just, I think they just stuffed a whole like lumps of garlic under the cheese. Oh man.
Where is this? I want to go try this.
Where is this?
Stephanie in Newcastle. So you know where Nancy's Bordello is?
No.
Right. So Northumbria Uni. Across the road from there's a bridge. Down there's a road called Stepney Lane. Goes left. It's like right at the bottom of that street.
Was it in Jesmond then?
No, it's in I'm trying to think what the area was.
Sandyford.
No, you know,
like, if you start off, you know where is the Fat Butter still there?
Not a clue. I'm living in the city centre.
I haven't been outside in months.
Is it near the biscuit factory?
No, you know
where,
what's that club we used to get taken to when we hated it?
Tiger.
Quite a few,
Soho.
Oh, in Soho, right? Okay.
So you go down the street and there's that big, massive roundabout, as if you're going to go off onto the Tyne Bridge.
Yeah.
But you go straight over, you keep walking, and then there's a little cut up, and you'll get to Pizza Base.
Right. I think, I know what he's on about, but I've never been.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm going to go now. I'm going to go.
You're going to walk all the way from Jesmond to...
got my bike.
Yeah. Quayside.
It's worth it, and it's also really not worth it. Don't do it yourself.
Hopefully when the pubs reopen and it gets to tier 2, then actually no, it'll have to be tier 1, won't it? Yeah, tier 1, and then I'll go to the pub, and then I'll walk all the way while after I've had a few, because then you don't really mind, do you? I'll go try Pizza Base.
Go Pizza Base, love it.
100%. If it's bad, I'll get ridiculed because I'll have to invite a few people to come with me. So I'll just blame it on you, Star.
Well, Tom, Tom, you weren't there. Where friends from school came, and I think 7 people stayed in my 1-bed studio flat. I was like, let's go to Pizza Base. We've got to go to Pizza Base. And we all ate, but one of the lads was so drunk, he was like, oh, yes, I can't wait for this pizza. He took 1 bite, and he vomited everywhere. But I don't think that was the pizza's fault. I think that was his fault. But, yeah, it's definitely an end of night thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When was your first gig?
So we have, as a band, played a grand total of 2 gigs.
Nice. I thought you were going to say 0 there.
Well, so the first gig, I say gig, call it gig. The local pub did a busking competition. So just me, Tom, and Richard went, and we didn't win, but that's fine, I guess. And the second,
should have won. We should have won.
Richard,
no, Richard.
By 2 votes. Come on.
No, Richard, just forget about it. It's okay. It's gone. It's past.
Let it go.
I'm not bitter about it. It's fine. And the second one was it was Battle of the Bands in Bubbles in Ashington, and that was the weekend before lockdown, I think.
Yeah, literally like 2 days before they announced the full lockdown.
Right.
So we've had like a bunch of gigs lined up, and they've just not happened. And I think it's February is the first gig, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether it's going ahead or whether I've not a clue.
Yeah.
Well, they are starting to roll out the vaccine soon, so hopefully.
Yeah. My worry is that because the rehearsal studio we go to, Sounding, they've either been closed or we've been in tier 2, so we can't see each other. Now we're in tier 3, we still can't see each other. So it might get to the point where we're there for Humanist, like poor fella who's a very professional musician. We turn up having never practiced since. We're holiday in Tokyo. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you've got Surf Cafe next year, don't you?
We do.
Yeah.
I'm really chuffed for that. Really looking forward to that. But another thing, we need to write songs, because I think we have a set list for a support set. It's like, right, how long's the normal one? It's like, oh, it's about an hour and a bit or whatever. It's like, oh crap, we need some more songs. So let's get on that for June. But I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. So what's your favorite gig that all of you have been to?
I think the Ashington one for me, just purely because we turned up, and this gig was organised by a friend of mine that I work with. He part owns Bubbles. Anyway, he offered us the slot to go play. So it was one in the heat, so we turned up, and I didn't know what to expect, to be totally honest. Like, I'm not from the Northeast, so I've never been to Ashington. So we got there and went down the gig, set up and whatever, and we were on first, so we had to look around, and the other two bands turned up, and we started playing. And I think at one point in the set, because obviously just to fill time, we did In the Cut. And I think Matty actually introduced as "This is our Big Boy Rock song" as a joke. We played that, and that was great. They all went fine. Next band up after us, they were really lovely lads, but it was very. It was basically a scream band, and then the following band after them were also a scream band. We just felt very out of place.
Right.
So, but we played the gig, and it was great, and we had a really good time doing it. And anyway, we all left one by one. We all got to work in the morning. And I was driving back through Ashington, and I got a text saying that we'd won the heat. And I was just like, what? I couldn't understand how, because given the crowd and the type of music, I was like, we were so far left field that I thought, nah, no chance. But yeah, it turns out everyone liked it. I don't know if they just wanted to change from Scream, but it was really good. I think just really surprising.
Well, I was on about is in the crowd, but yeah, I like that.
That's what I thought, and I just thought I'd let him keep talking.
Oh, crap. Sorry, my bad.
It's a good story. It's a good story anyway, so yeah, it's fine.
Sorry.
To be fair, we should ask that question as well. We should have both. Actually, yeah, go on. We've done that one now. Now we'll ask, what's been the favourite gig you've watched? There you go, we'll do that one.
Mine would have to be Ninja Sex Party, without a doubt. I don't know who they are. It's a YouTube.
I was going to say the internet people, aren't they?
Yeah, like spoof band, and it was just I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, because the support band, TWRP, they are also like the backing band for Ninja Sex Party, and they absolutely blew my socks off. Like, they're all wearing costumes that light up, and he was on what's it called, man? Like not a Segway, like a was it
a Swagway?
Yeah. Oh. And he's there, and one of them's playing guitar while on one of them, and he's got nunchucks. I'm like, how? Like, who writes this down and be like, right, let's do this for the gig? And just the atmosphere, it was just absolutely nuts. That was probably the best one. Or something little like Nil for Yanya, where there's only like 30 people in the room. That was really good as well.
I think mine's probably was Parkway Drive last January. Me and my mate went over to Manchester. It's the first time I've been to Manchester for a gig. And what a show that was, just the atmosphere. I know Newcastle's good for a gig, but Manchester was something else. Yeah, that's the best thing I've ever seen. And we were like, where the O2 or the Academy,
yeah,
in Manchester was banked. So we just stood behind the sound desk, and we just had like a perfect view of the stage, and we were just like, this is incredible.
All right, what about you, Jack and Tom, then? What about you?
I think my favourite gig, it's not really a gig. Probably I used to go to Kendal Calling quite a lot, the festival. I think seeing Jason Status there, I think I was 17 or something like that, but I just remember it being like a really, really good atmosphere, and just really mad, like flares going off, and massive drum and bass beats and stuff, and it's just mental. And I think that's probably like my strongest memory of a gig. So I think, yeah, that for me would probably be my all-time favourite.
Mine's probably the same as Matty's. Seeing Tupperware Remix Party, I've followed them for years. Their music's just unreal. And then afterwards, when Ninja Sex Party came on, the real standout moment for me was when Danny goes, "My dad's up there in the background," and everyone turns around and goes, "We love you, Avi." It was just like it's a moment that could only happen for a band like that, I think, where someone says, "My dad's up there," and everybody doesn't go, "Wow, that's pretty lame." It was just great.
I was wondering, who does your album and single art for this release? Because it's really good.
That was me. I know a lot of people like go to other artists, but I can't. I'm really tight and cheap, and I can't be asked to pay anyone, or like I have to get creative input. So because of the swing, I think the swing's our like standout track. So I was like, let's have that as the main theme, but not use the same cover, because the cover for the swing is Concert Front Street. And I got Tom to just like do the outlines. I was like, I like the outline idea that we kept going, because we just took like images and just traced them. And that image is I'm sure it's the day the Concert Steelworks closed in the 80s. So I just traced the whole thing on my phone, and then I've tried to add in like little glimpses of the other songs. So there's like a palm tree in the top right, which is amoxicillin, and then there's a baby like glued to a phone, which is Drift Away. I was gonna have one of them with like the graduation hat thing, but I was like, that's probably someone's nana, and I'm like, I'm not gonna just defile the photo. So I put a pan on the floor for late night cooking, just to sprinkle that in. I don't know if I put something else in, but that was just I wanted to capture sort of, it's another thing of nostalgia, especially around concert. It's like, back when the Steelworks, it's like everyone seems to love the 80s, and I'm very glad I wasn't born in the 80s. It sounded terrible. And it's that whole thing of like nostalgia thing. It's like looking back and like absolutely loving it, but when you really like dig into it, you go,
Yeah. Well, the whole Northeast is like that, isn't it? Because you've got like Sunderland with the coal mines and Newcastle with the shipbuilding and that. Yeah, so because Joe prepared you earlier, what is sort of your top 3 favourite albums of all time then?
I'll go. Top 1 is probably Black Holes and Revelations by Muse. Right. Matty's probably going to be annoyed because I've beat him to it. But yeah, I think just as a full album, it's the first album I ever like sat down and listened to end to end. I think like with Spotify things, I love Spotify. It's great, but it has this tendency to make you like sort of just fill your liked songs with singles. So you don't like listen to a full end to end album, which I think can sometimes be better than individual songs on an album. But Black Holes and Revelations is the first one I think I've listened to end to end and thought that was really class, really enjoyed it. Second one, weirdly, Metallica, Saint Anger. I know everyone, so this is why I'm going to get loads of hate for this.
I love it as well, Jack, you're all right.
So obviously, I quite like Metallica. I did growing up as a teenager. I think everyone has a Metallica phase, but I really like Saint Anger weirdly because I weirdly like the like sort of sloppy drums and things in it. I don't know why. I know everyone, this is like a point in contention and everyone hates Lars Ulrich for that snare drum, but I just really enjoy it. I really enjoy Saint Anger itself and some kind of monster and things like that off it. I just think it's a really good album. And like for me personally, it was, my brother is a huge Metallica fan, so it was quite a good connection with him. Lastly, probably Alt J and Awesome Wave. Similar reasons to the Muse album. I really enjoyed it all the way through. I think it just works really well as a good album, and I just really like some of the songs off it, like Tarot. I just really like how weird some of the sounds are, and it just a bit odd and a bit different.
All
right. Return to Wherever by Tupperware Remix Party. Some of the songs on there, like Hidden Potential, they're just a good song to like belt out when you're in the home by yourself. It's very relatable at the minute. Top notch. The next one, a lot of fans of this band hate the album, but I really like A Flash Flood of Colour by Enter Shikari. It's really not my kind of music, but it just came out at the right time when I was learning about environmental stuff in geography and biology, and them screaming about oil just really resonated with us. And some of the songs, they're just good to have on as like, you don't care what's happening, just thrash them out. And then another one's a recent one, and it's Nectar by Joji.
Yes, yeah. I like that. It's a good one.
Especially Run. I heard Run on its own, and I was like, whoa, this has blown me away that a guitarist carried the whole song, and this guy who has a questionable past has created this absolute heartbreak of a song.
Eating dead rats and stuff.
Yeah, telling us about the rice fields. He has turned that around so well. And then I'm going to have a runner-up because I actually know 4 albums. And it pains me to say because I used to be a big Arctic Monkeys hater, but in the past 4 weeks I've listened to all of AM, and it's just a banger.
Yeah.
Like an absolute quality album. I shocked myself at how much I liked it because when it came out, I'd say to my brother, what are you listening to that rubbish for? It's really good.
My favourite album, actually it's a two-parter, is The House of Golden Bones Part 1 and 2 by Stone Sour.
Can't say I've heard it, but...
it came out just at a time when I was like at my lowest point, and just the song sort of resonated with us, and I was like, it got us out of a bad place. Second favorite would probably be Iowa by Slipknot, just for the aggression and the riff writing on that album. It's absolutely wonderful, great metal album. Third, I'll probably say Reverence by Parkway Drive. It was just they were going in a different direction from where they'd started, and yeah, great songwriting on that as well.
Matty,
right. This is hard. So I'm not doing a top 3 because I don't have a 1. I'll do it in like a little category.
Okay.
So for recent album, because over like the last few years, I was like, no, I'm going to listen to albums. I'm not going to like just have loads of playlists on Spotify. Like last year, I like Nila Filania, Liz Lawrence, and like going back to like more Courtney Barnett albums. But this year in January, I heard Walking Like We Do by The Big Moon. And it's just shot straight up in my rankings if I had a ranking, because I evidently don't. But I listened to that on loop. I absolutely love it. It's just, there's something about each song having like a really memorable hook. So when you're listening to it, you might not know the words, be like, oh, this is this bit. And then there's like the big riff that comes in halfway through the album and you blast it. It's just incredible. I really love that album. It cheeses up as well. I think it's good to have an album where you're like, you can't, it's usually because I'll listen to albums on a commute to work. So me and Richard was saying 43 minutes is
42.
Like 42.
42 exactly.
That's speed demon Richard.
That's like, and it's like pretty much as soon as I like get home, the last song ends bang on. It's just spot on. I've been listening to Black Ice by AC/DC purely because I was thinking about Gears of War 2 the other day, and I was like, I remember Gears of War 2, and every time I think about it, I had Black Ice on in the background, and that's just trapped me in like 2008. I'm like in year 9 or whatever, and it's a bit naff, and I listen to it and the words make no sense. They're obviously like, I don't know how old they would have been in the 50s or 60s at that point, and they're not having sex, drugs and rock and roll at all that point, but like, it's just the energy in it. It just cheeses up. So I'll say Black Ice for like a guilty pleasure one. I absolutely love it. And then I couldn't not pick Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's interchangeable, really. But that one's the first one I listened to all the way through because I adore Paul Simon. I think he's incredible. So Bridge Over Troubled Water, for old album.
Yeah, I mean it's a good song as well. Like the song by itself, it's an excellent song.
Oh yeah.
What about favorite from 2020? If anybody's got a favorite from 2020, obviously Tom's will be probably Joji, but
I've had this in my head. It's either B Bridges Punisher or Twin Heavy by Willie J. Healy. And I only pick Willie J. Healy because I think Chinese Satellite goes on just a bit too long.
Oh, that's what Holly Ray said was her favorite from the album.
It's a great song, but like I don't know, it gets a bit twee in the middle, And as I'm putting through Tow Law and all the rough kids are at the bus stop, I turn it down a bit. So I'm like, I don't want to think I'm like a proper tweet. And then like the end is here, or I know the end turns up at the end, and you're just like, like it just blows your head off. But I think because of the music, I really like, let's do like that sort of singer-songwriting stuff. I think Willie J. Healy's got just really interesting, fun songs all the way through. I really like the album.
From this year, I know it's not really like an album, but Bring Me the Horizon's new EP.
Right.
It goes on for about 35 minutes, so it's like an album length. And it's all been written in lockdown. It's all about lockdown. I know I was saying before, people aren't writing in lockdown. But yeah, all those songs are just like the first song about like being stuck in the house and the dog won't stop barking and how he's losing his mind. I think it relates with the current times. So yeah, that's definitely my pick of 2020.
Yeah. I mean, there has been quite a few good quarantine albums like that. So yeah. Jack, what about you?
Oh, I'm really struggling. I'm just trying to flick through my Spotify.
I was just saying, screamed it up because like albums of 2020.
Just trying to find my Spotify playlist to listen to. I don't think there's really been a particular album I've sort of picked up on that I've been a fan of, really. To be honest, I think I've been going back listening to a lot of music I've missed out on and stuff, and like my favorite bands from previous this year. So I haven't really had yet. I suppose there's still a bit of 2020 left, like an album yet that's sort of like hit me and went, oh great. I mean, I'm a big fan of The National, so I think they had a new album released this year, and I've listened to tracks off that, and I really quite like that. But yeah, that's the closest I can get. Sorry, I can't really think of a
That's fine,
specific
man.
album.
Well, I've already had three excellent picks as well, because Matty gave two, but so it's fine. Tom, are you say anything other than Georgie?
It's going to have to be Georgie, but I will mention one single that everybody hates, but I love it, and it's Daisy by Ash Nico.
I don't know it, so I can't hate it. But...
Matty hates it.
Radio 1 on. Like, the first time it came on, I was like, oh, this is interesting, cool. The next 40 times you hear it, it's like pins in your eyeballs. No.
I'm not going to lie, I was expecting you to say WAP then for some reason.
Actually, for some reason, yeah.
That was the obvious answer, and we're not going to pick the obvious answer, obviously.
It was also, Jake, I don't have Instagram, but Jake was telling me on Instagram, you're a big Borat fan, apparently. There's a lot about Borat.
The international incident.
So, my mate absolutely had me life for this. Because like the EP came out at the same time as Borat 2.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, I'll put a post on, I don't know, like, EP comes out, it's nice, whatever. One sole comment, stop abusing Kazakhstan for profit. And I just,
right.
I was like, what have I done? Like, all I want to do is make music with my friends, and now I'm abusing Kazakhstan. It's never mind, eh?
Well, they've changed the thing now, so the tourism board of Kazakhstan says very nice. So obviously they're all right with it now, but
I like that. Okay, I feel vindicated.
Yeah.
So is it the big question is Borat 1 or Borat 2?
I still haven't seen Borat 2.
You haven't?
You haven't seen it? Yeah, Borat 2's I like Borat 1 more than Borat 2, I won't lie.
I've seen the clip from Borat 2 with
Rudy.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that.
Have you seen the new video of him with his hair dye coming down his face?
Oh, yeah.
Magic. Absolute magic.
Oh, he's not a nice bloke at the minute, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the future? What have you got planned for the future?
That depends. So we've got a few gigs lined up. So we've got Humanist on the 3rd of February, I think, which is the Wednesday. And then the following Saturday, it's Deep Sleep. Both at the Think Tank, just first one underground, second one like upstairs. And then we've got which way round is I can't remember. We've got Bobbix and Martha Hill. I think Bobbix is first. because someone my partner knows is in the band Men Behind the Sun, and she mentioned to her, "Oh, do you want to support Bobbix?" I was like, I would absolutely love to support Bobbix. So I count my blessings for that one, because I think it's just such a lush venue. And again, a solo support set for Martha Hill in the laundrette. That one was weird because I emailed, I think that was like the end of 2018. I think I emailed the laundrette, and I was like, "Have you got anything? Have you got? I could just come on just half an hour before the artist starts." I was playing the guitar because I was just looking for. This is before we even played. Yeah, I think even before we even practiced. I was just like, "Please, like, just anything." He said, "Oh, you can have Martha Hill." And I was like, "Right, who's that?" And I was Google. I was like, "Right, okay, no one knows who she is. Doesn't matter." And then as time's gone on, I'm at a point where it's like, right, she's on Radio 6. Okay. And then it's gone, right, she's on Radio 1. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I'm going to have to actually pull me weight for this. But I'm really looking forward to that. And then after that, we've got Tynemouth with support from our friends Reservoirs. I think it'll be very relaxed. Because I feel like with the other ones, like with the established artists, we're like, right, we've got to try and like sell ourselves. But with that, it's like, hopefully it's a lot of people who they know us. It's just friends and family who come together, have a good time. And especially knowing the support act personally, I think it'll just be a nice evening. So come along, boys and girls. That's my plug for the Tynemouth gig.
Yeah. What about singles? Have you got any singles planned coming up?
Well, no. We'll have one that we're going to record next, but it's whether we can get there all together. So as soon as if we're getting to tier 1, the ideal. I think we've got a song picked out, and it's a lot more poppy, because I've got in my mind what I'd like to do if I did either another EP or even an album. And I was like, oh, these songs would work together. But I've got this one song that's very much like a pop hit. I think that'll be a lot of fun to do. Because with the EP, we recorded 4 songs in a live environment, and then we overdubbed like a solo or a piano part or whatever. Like there wasn't much like really added to it apart from Ollie's mixing. But I think we're just going to take the time and have one day, give one song the full kit and caboodle, get some cowbells in there,
egg
shakers all over. So I think that's what we're going to go for next. But apart from that, I'm still writing songs, but I think I'd rather focus on the gigs. And then maybe this single, if we get it done, we could release it alongside the Tynemouth gig. It would be like it's like a single party or whatever, but it totally depends. I have no idea what's going to happen. So that's our plan anyway, I think.
Okay, good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I need to get tickets for the Surf Cafe one, but yeah.
There's definitely one person coming. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, you can count me in as well.
Two people. Guaranteed 2 people coming. Yeah, these have been fantastic to talk to. I don't know if you've got any more questions, Joe.
No, I'm out of questions.
So am I.
Yeah.
But these have been fantastic to talk to. Thank you for doing the interview with us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No worries.
Cheers.